Aston Martin, maker of quintessentially British sports cars. It's no wonder this brand has become the go-to wheels of a certain secret agent. Hang on. Before we get too carried away with all that romantic stuff about the James Bond connection and the fact that the cars are built in Britain, shouldn't we acknowledge that this GT is only really here to prolong the life of the DB9 before the next model arrives in 2016? As such, the new GT isn't really new at all, but based on a car that first went on sale a decade ago. Mind you, let's not pretend that this isn't still a seriously good looking car. Beautifully proportioned, subtly aggressive, and in GT trim enhanced by details like this black splitter matched by a rear diffuser, 20-inch alloy wheels and redesigned lights front and rear. Admittedly, those are all fairly small changes, but Aston has done more here in the interior. For example, this dash panel is borrowed from the more expensive Vanquish, and it features these haptic controls which not only look better but are actually easier to use as well. However, there are still some faults. The iPod connectivity is not very good, and this sat-nav is just atrocious. Contrast this to the beautiful hand-stitched leather and excellent seats, and it's hard to believe they coexist in the same car. Now, at this point, I usually get to go and have some fun and go and drive it, but my cameraman's just reminded me I haven't told you anything about how much space there is in the DB9. So, not a great deal is the answer. There's a small door pocket, there's a small compartment there, there's a glove box that's small too, and while there are a couple of rear seats, they're not really designed for human beings as such. Follow me around, I'll just show you the boot quickly as well. Now the boot, noting on the way just how beautiful this paint finish is, a little flecks of silver in, it's just lovely. This is a decent space, there's room for, say, probably 2 big weekend bags, so fulfilling its GT potential nicely. Now can I drive it? First things first, the DB9 still carries a real sense of occasion when it comes to driving. Now, as several people on our YouTube channel have commented, I am in no way cool, and yet driving this car, I kind of feel like I might be. No? Still not cool? Damn it. Let's stick to the facts then. This car's replacement will be available with an AMG V8, but for the time being, the Aston sticks with the long-serving 6-litre V12, uprated in the GT to give an extra 30 horsepower, taking the total to 540 horsepower. So it's got some beans, that's for sure. Although, actually, with 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds and a 183 mph top speed, the DB9 GT isn't actually all that fast by modern standards. The Audi RS3 that Rebecca reviewed the other day, for example, is quicker from 0 to 60. Although, having said that, it doesn't sound like this. The GT features 3-stage adjustable damping. There's normal mode, which is pretty good, there's sport, which is firmer, and there's track, which makes all your fat bits wobble about. There's also a 6-speed Touchtronic 2 automatic gearbox, which is okay. It feels a bit dated now, to be honest, and when you pull these paddles, for example, it just doesn't respond as crisply as something like a Mercedes AMG GT. Remember though that this was never intended to be an out-and-out sports car, but rather a GT, the kind of car that you can drive from the north of Scotland to the south of France and still get out the other end feeling fresh. In that respect, the DB9 still fulfills its brief very well. A word too for this steering, which uses hydraulic assistance and has this most wonderful balance of weight, feel and speed. It's just lovely. As the DB9 is coming up for replacement, this GT model should be being offered at a bargain price, right? Afraid not. Although at £140,000, it's not obscenely more expensive than a normal DB9, about £8,000 or so. Running costs will of course be tremendous, by which we mean big, not good, and depreciation in particular is pretty hard going on DB9s when compared with their rivals from Italy. So this is the bit where I tell you to forget all that and buy the DB9 GT anyway, because it looks great, it sounds great, and it will make you feel like 007, which, let's face it, is great. However, in this instance, I think we're so close to seeing the DB9's replacement that you would be wise to wait for one of those instead. In the meantime, you can read reviews of all the latest cars on sale by clicking up here to go to the Telegraph Cars website, and of course, don't forget to click down here to subscribe to our YouTube channel.